Welcome back to GB News Tonight with me, your host, Martin Daubney. Now, for those of you who don't remember, here's an excerpt from Prince Harry's memoir, Spare.
I'd been trying some home remedies, including one recommended by a friend. She'd urged me to apply Elizabeth Arden cream. My mum used that on her lips. You want me to put that on my todger? It works, Harry, trust me. I found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time. I felt as if my mother was right there in the room. Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
Now, apologies for those of you having your fish and chips at home, because in a new interview with The Guardian today, the Duke has said, amongst other things, that he has no regrets about that memoir. So we can only assume that he applies to the question of oversharing as well. Well, I'm joined now in the studio by the legendary royal biographer Tom Bower as well, the GB News' senior political commentator Nigel Nelson. Tom Bower, welcome to the show. We were all wincing as that clip came out. How can Prince Harry have no regrets?
Well, not only about that, but a lot more. I mean, he said the most dreadful things in his book about Prince William, about Kate, about his father, and about Camilla, and about Britain too. And, of course, it wasn't only in his book. He did it on the Netflix series and the Apple series. And all over the world, he's gone round saying Britain's a racist country and his family is racist, and all the rest. So the fact that he actually comes to Britain on a very, very structured, well-organised tour, gives away £1.5 million to charities, money he hasn't really got, but he'll do anything to ingratiate himself, convinces the royal corps of reporters that it's all reconciliation, convinces his father at the very last moment to meet him for reconciliation, promises that he'll be silent when he leaves, gets to Ukraine and immediately delivers this amazing self-justification of saying that his conscience is clear, that he's got no regrets, and that everything he said was just a matter of the truth. And it's about time his family buckled down and apologised to him. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Tom Bower, with that in mind, if you could sum up Prince Harry in a single word, what would it be?
Dishonest. I mean, I am currently finishing a book about him. And what is remarkable is you've got to remember just 6 months ago when the whole Centre Bailey crisis happened, this is his charity in Lesotho and Botswana, he was accused by the chairman of being a bully, a misogynist, of being dishonest and all the rest of it. And it did seem as if Harry's reputation had hit the dust. But he very cleverly has put all that behind him and suddenly appears, and because he hands out baubles to children and smiles and all the rest of it, everyone says, oh, it's the old Harry back. Well, it's not the old Harry back. It's a new Harry. It's the Harry that wants to have his cake and eat it. He wants to live in California and pop over here just to remind people how important he is, and at the same time, of course, undermine the royal family. And that really is. He and Meghan together have done more in the last 4 or 5 years to destroy the royal family than anyone over the past hundreds of years. And I fear that this trip has done huge damage to the royal family because in the end he'll get his vengeance, and it's very, very bad. This is the point. It's very, very bad for Prince William and Kate. You know, they are struggling to assert themselves. She's not well, the king's not well, the monarchy is not in its best shape ever. And here comes Harry just spewing out his bonhomie and his money, thinking he can buy himself a license to carry on as before. And I think he should have been told you can't do it.
Using day.
Tom Bower, of course, we have that state visit from Donald Trump on Wednesday at Windsor Castle. Talk about spare. Harry's become a spare part. A spare part at a wedding, a spare part at a state visit, a spare part at everything. Has he painted himself into irrelevance?
Well, he hasn't, because when he comes here, he becomes a focus of attention. But of course, he is spare to Meghan, or was, in her attempt to become sort of the great television housekeeper and homekeeper. But her series, her career is crashing. So very cleverly, Harry has separated himself from Meghan, as she did from him. But she needs him. And so you've got this couple now in Montecito desperately looking for a new purpose in life. Is Harry Meghan's spare, or is now Meghan Harry's spare? Who is the spare to the royal family? But that is the fact, that they're both of them looking for a purpose, and all they can do is damage the royal family by their activities.
Nigel Nelson, let's bring you in. Tom Bower there saying nobody's done more to damage the royal family in a century.
Well, I certainly wish Harry and Meghan hadn't left Britain. I think that they should have knuckled down and done their royal duties. I do think Tom's being a bit unfair on Harry, that there's no question of his commitment to Invictus and to people who lose their arms and legs fighting for their country. 130,000 of them in Ukraine. That's where he went to give this interview. I also have some sympathy as an ex-royal correspondent for the royals themselves. I mean, these are people who, unlike politicians, they didn't choose the public eye. They were born into it. And I can understand the frustrations that the royals feel towards the media. When I was a royal correspondent following Prince Charles around, I made sure we did deals so we could protect his privacy as much as we possibly could.
Tom Bower, talking about an arm and a leg there, isn't that the point? They'd lose an arm and a leg for anything they touch now. Netflix, they seem to have the inverse Midas touch, this pair.
Well, they made a huge amount of money by selling their story and by dumping on the royal family. And it was unforgivable, all the dreadful things they said. I mean, Meghan alone, in her interview with Oprah Winfrey, made 17 what one might call inaccurate statements. It was shocking what they did. And the whole point is, we may think it's all over, but round the world, everyone now believes that the British royal family is racist because of Meghan, supported by Harry. It's done us huge damage, and that is irrecoverable. And they did it for money. They did it for themselves, self-promotion. And that is what I find so awful. And I'm telling you, the trip to Ukraine, it may seem to you to be all about the poor soldiers who are injured, but it really is all about Harry. Harry is desperately looking for a purpose. He is looking for a role. He gave up on this charity in Southern Africa, Centre Bailey, because it was his money going into it. There wasn't enough money for him. Invictus is funded by governments. And what has been really important for him on this trip here, which no one has picked up yet, is that he needs the support of the British government for the Invictus Games in 27 in Birmingham. And that'll cost a lot of money, but he needs that support. He needs his father there. He needs the establishment to support him. And if he doesn't get it, it'll look terrible. And that is what he's so desperate about, because there's a huge hole in his career.
Excellent stuff. Super. Thank you very much, Tom Bower. A pleasure to have your esteemed company in the studio tonight. And, of course, Nigel Nelson, always a pleasure. Gentlemen, thank you very much.